What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Haley Cairo if you guys are new. You guys, I think we need a new intro. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back to my channel. All right, where do we even begin? First of all, I can't really find the best lighting in the house today, so I just look like a shadowed mess. Film an actual YouTube video for you guys in quite some time with my new job at Real Simple, which I am loving. It is going amazing. It should be launching soon. It's not a TV show, the show for you guys to see. It's called Simply, and it's gonna be an extended version of my YouTube channel. So I am sharing the journey of simplifying my home, my routines, every aspect of my life, and showing you how it's done. So I'm excited, I'm nervous, but really excited. Today, I thought it would be fun to just do a Q&A with you guys because I had promised one back in December. Things got a little crazy with the new job, Kyle's schedule got crazy, and we couldn't actually do the couples Q&A. So it's just me today, but I'm gonna be answering some questions and I'm excited to dive into them. I've had them screenshotted on my phone, and we're gonna be talking about all the juicy things you guys wanna know. Not that my life is that juicy, but we'll try. But first, I would like to say thank you to today's partner. I am actually incredibly grateful for this opportunity to share with you guys that I teamed up with Modern Fertility for today's video. It is something that I have been wanting to try for myself, and it's kind of a theme for today's video as well. So Modern Fertility is an incredible concept run by women, founded by women, as it should be. We're talking about fertility, and I'm actually gonna cut away to sharing all about my journey trying Modern Fertility, what I think about it, and how you guys can try it as well.
Just a forewarning, there is going to be a little bit of blood in this shot, so if you're squeamish, you might want to skip through, but you test on the third day of your period before you eat or drink anything. Honestly, this does not hurt at all. I've done this before for other blood tests and things like that, taking my glucose, but it's super simple. The video makes it very easy to understand. It's very laid out in front of you, so it's pretty foolproof, and testing was pretty seamless, and they make it so that way you know exactly what you're doing. So you're just going to apply the blood to the 2 cards that they provide for you and let them dry. You put them in the special envelopes that help keep it, safe and non-contaminated, and then you send it away to your post office, and in about 10 to 14 days you get your results. And all of the results come online, so you can go through all of the results. I'm being very redundant, but you can see the reports right online, and they make it so understandable, so digestible, so that way you can not only share the information with your doctor, you get a printout to take with you, but you can also continue on with the plan and build the plan that works best for you based upon your results.
So once I got my test results back, it was really cool because we were actually on the way to the gym. I got the email, went to my account online, got to see a very simplified version of my report. I was nervous, I'm not gonna lie, because I've had hormone issues in the past, and there was great markers. There were some markers that I wanted to kind of dive into with my doctor, and they give you a great report that you can print out and take with you. They give the most in-depth review of your results, which was the best part, and almost to the point I need to read through it again because it's a lot of information, but they make it so easily digestible, which I just appreciated because so many things can affect fertility. And what was cool was the verbiage on your reports is written for you. So it'll say something when it's explaining a marker, it's like, this is for that, but because you tested high in that, here's what that means. And I just thought it was so eye-opening and so helpful. And I love that they give you the next steps so you can create a plan with your goals, and that's kind of where I'm at now. So I don't want to give too much away because it kind of has to do with one of the questions in today's video, but you can create a goal for whether you want to try to have a kid now, in a few years, like whatever it is for you. And Modern Fertility helps you build that out with like a trajectory plan, which is really cool. If you guys want to try Modern Fertility, I will have a coupon code with the link down below for you guys to check it out. Seriously, I'm so much about taking control over your health and like being aware of your health, and this just makes it so accessible for so many people, and I'm gonna get like teary-eyed just talking about it. And so yeah, I'm like really excited about this. Would love for you guys to check it out. So yeah, links down below. After we got engaged, I wanted to do this Q&A with you guys and just kind of answer some of your questions here. So we are going to do about as much of them as I possibly can without Kyle, because I don't want to speak for him. Okay, so the first question, how do you handle schedule changes in Kyle's work shifts living together? Any tips? This is a great question because this is something that we are still trying to figure out. And I think it's hard to explain it without living in it. Like, it doesn't sound as challenging, but if you do live with someone who's a shift worker, you relate. The thing with Kyle's schedule, even with shift work, you typically have some sort of predictable rotation or like set rotation. And at least for right now, Kyle does not. So it makes it really challenging to be in a routine. And I think the majority of our miscommunication or times when we've had not arguments, but just a check-in kind of conversation has come from typically me feeling like I can't get into a routine because I end up having to handle more things around the home. And I feel like we're like passing ships all the time and there's no, okay, well, if you're on this schedule, then this is how the house is going to be run. And if you're on this one, then it's going to be run this way. So just to kind of give you guys an example of why it's frustrating. Last week was the first week that I had filming for Real Simple. And Kyle called me from work and was like, hey, just wanted to give you an update. I'm going to be midnights next week. And I was like, they're like my least favorite shift that he does because I have to like creep around the house because I work from home. I have to be mindful of the dogs. And he always says, you know, you're fine. Like, do what you need to do. I'm good. But I don't know, because he'll come home. He gets home at like 6:30 in the morning and then sleeps. So that's tough. And this past week I was journaling and I was saying I'm having a hard time with these midnights because I wake up and I want to like make him breakfast and make sure we have like 30 minutes to an hour of just like him watching, you know, YouTube before he falls asleep. And I'm like, but then I'm not doing my morning routine. So it's this whole process all the time. And any tips, I would say you both have to be cognizant of it. You both have to be selfless and put yourself in the other person's shoes of, okay, well, I'm doing this, but how does this affect my significant other? And it's taken a while to get there. And I think Kyle got to the point where he realized, you know what, Haley's kind of taking a larger load than she needs to. She's not really getting any time to herself. She's always either doing something for the house or doing something for me or working, and it's like I can't function that way. So you need to have clear communication, have those weekly check-ins. It was getting hard because like everything was kind of last minute, but just stay with your routine. And if you guys have a good foundation, you know, the issue shouldn't be that you're not like seeing each other as much during the week. It should be how you're flowing and how you're functioning. That's what really ends up mattering. Make sure that you're prioritizing what you need to prioritize and everything should fall into place. But I'm probably gonna do a video on this for Real Simple, so about shift work. So just stay tuned. What's been your favorite trip you've been on as a couple? Well, we've never actually been on like a trip together, like taken a plane anywhere. Never really done a vacation. We've done some little things. Each trip we've ever taken has been meaningful. We've really only taken like 2. Is that true? This is making us sound like we don't do anything. Probably we went to Leesburg, Virginia. He has family there. The first time that we went was really cool and really special. It was right before he left for, training academy. So it was like a send-off kind of a trip. We had a lot of good conversation there. We kind of worked through some things on that trip. We hiked Harper's Ferry, which was really cool. And then probably our trip to Jim Thorpe was definitely my favorite because we got engaged and the town was so amazing. And I just felt like I was on cloud 9 that whole weekend. So definitely something I'm gonna remember. But we just planned a trip to Hawaii in October, which I am so excited about. So that's probably gonna be my favorite. How did you guys meet? Well, I feel like that has to be a story with Kyle. We met, I had just gotten out of a long-term relationship a couple months prior, and this is gonna sound so rude, but I was 21 and I would get on Tinder specifically to kind of joke around and like not like be mean or ghost anybody or catfish anybody. My brother and I would like sit there and swipe through people and like come up with funny stories about what we thought this person did, because like some of the taglines and what people would say was just so funny. Then I saw Kyle on there and he was the complete opposite of anybody I would ever date. I always said I would never date someone from Delaware Military Academy because like, I was like our rival school. We thought they were all jerks. And then someone who was in the military, because my best friend was in the military and I was like, I just couldn't do that. And Kyle was in the Navy. So, and he was also like just a different like look than I normally go to. I was like very attractive, like very good looking. But it was just like a different look. Swiped right, we matched. The actual story of how we met is, oh man, my camera battery is gonna die. So I'm gonna change it out so I can actually explain it to you. But yeah, Tinder was not something that I actually used. It just wasn't, it didn't really align with like my morals or anything like that. Not to like diss on anyone, but it just wasn't for me. I had never really dated. I always just kind of either knew the person or met them naturally, I guess. And so Kyle, the first conversation or the first message that he sent me wasn't weird. He was asking about where I went to school. He was asking about the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. We were talking about workouts, and then invited me to work out with him. And I remember I gave him an excuse that I was coaching a fitness class that day, but I was just like too nervous to go work out with him. I was like, I don't want that to be the first thing that we do together. Cause he was like, yeah, we could have the gym all to ourselves. He like was a personal trainer at the time. And I was like, I don't know about doing that. He invited me to meet him at this bar that was close to both of our homes. I met him there and we had this amazing conversation, and it's just funny like knowing him now. Like I loved that he would like yes man me and things like that. I don't think he's yes man me in like 5 years, but you know, it worked. It definitely worked. But there's more to that story, but I definitely need him for the rest of it. So how do you handle arguments? Actually, we just had a bunch of them. We don't typically argue. I'm someone who, I'm like really patient with arguments, and I don't typically just like fly off the handle unless it's like well-deserved, you know? We definitely talk things out, and typically when we argue, it's because I will take something personally, or like I won't like a tone that Kyle uses and then I get kind of bratty about it. We'll go back and forth. I really try to listen to his and like put myself on his shoes whenever we're disagreeing. Our communication through arguments is typically pretty good. It's just a lot of listening. Also, always remembering that it doesn't matter that it's an argument. Like, you're my person. I'm not going anywhere. Like, we're gonna get through this, but right now I'm upset. Acknowledging that and feeling heard. Do you want kids? If so, how many? Yes. So that was kind of why I said that modern fertility was like the theme of the video. We definitely want kids. Honestly, like filming this video today, we've had a lot of really cool conversations the past few weeks where I feel like we've like come into a whole new chapter of our relationship, and I'm gonna cry because I'm so excited about it. I just feel like we've grown a lot the past few weeks. We've had a lot of really hard, challenging things come up and that we've had to work through. Hold myself, I wasn't gonna cry. Hold on. Okay. I was always really gung-ho on having kids, and Kyle was kind of coming around to the idea of having kids. All of our friends have kids or are pregnant, and I think he's kind of hitting that point where he's like hitting that next chapter. And so we've actually planned some trips because we really want to travel before we have kids, and we've just kind of entered this new phase of adulthood, I feel like, this week. Yes, we want kids. I would like 3 kids. I would like 2 boys and 1 girl. We already have the names picked out. God willing. What's your favorite thing about one another? Favorite thing about Kyle? My favorite thing about Kyle is he has a pretty unwavering determination in a lot of things. He's built himself to where he is now, like a very steadfast plan kind of a thing. Like, not saying he never wanted to like call it a quits, didn't get down or didn't get discouraged, because we definitely, I have seen him that way. For the most part, he is very steadfast as far as like achieving his goals, and it's very admirable. He works very hard, and that's definitely one of my favorite qualities about him. He also has a side that is so endearing that I see, and I'm almost glad I don't see it every day, because I don't think I would appreciate it as much. But when something happens with me, that when I'm dealing with like a mental health issue or something that I'm really struggling with, that maybe at first he kind of doesn't even recognize it until I really have a freak out, and then like seeing how he responds and how he helps me through that is definitely one of my favorite things about him. Can you do assumptions video? Yeah, for sure. What's the biggest challenge you've overcome in your relationship? I think for me, the biggest challenge was definitely just like the transition of moving in together and all of the things that kind of come with that. I I'm someone who is super aware of like how I want to be treated and how I should treat others and being considerate. And I think like we just, we've been selfish for 20 however many years, and just like navigating that was really hard. Dealing with little habits and character flaws that we both have, that was definitely the most challenging, because before we moved in together it was easy breezy. What's your love languages? For me, the way that I show love is definitely acts of service. I am affectionate, but that's just because like normally I want the affection, so like I try to give it to receive it, if that makes sense. Like, if I want a hug, I'm gonna go hug Kyle. But definitely acts of service, and I like giving too, like gifts and things like that, and quality time. Either of those. For me, I always say that I like all of the love languages equally. Definitely quality time is huge for me, and acts of service. My boyfriend doesn't pay attention to my needs when I feel like I do for him help. That's tough, because again, that kind of like falls in line with love languages, where you each have needs that need to be met, and that's where that like selfless love can come in, that unconditional love. Honestly, you have to have a conversation, and I think that's something that I was guilty of when we first moved in with each other, is that men, you have to tell men what you want. They are not mind readers. Things go right over their heads. You can't assume or have too many expectations as far as certain things go. Now, as far as him paying attention to you, I would say you do need to vocalize that to him. And if you have already, if it's something that like keeps coming up for you, is he really someone that you want to be with? Like, is he not paying attention to you because he's on his phone? Is he with his friends a lot? What is it about? What kind of attention do you need? Because I think certain things he could be oblivious to it. Like, it's so easy to just be on your phone, but verbalizing what you need and hopefully having it click for him would be great. What does Kyle do for work? Kyle works for the government. That's really all I can say. That was quick. How did you know one another was the one? Oh man. Well, coming from like a toxic relationship prior to Kyle, it was just like night and day. And I think when someone is the one, there's no explanation for it. You just know. And I always said that Kyle was my him, because I had this idea of like who I wanted to marry. And I would tell my mom all the time, like, my husband's qualities need to be this, this, and this. And like when I realized that Kyle was him, and I'd always like refer to him as my him, that was that. It's the person that you know that no matter what happens, you're gonna work through the crap. You're gonna fight to stay together. People give up so easily, and I'm like, how did you not think about this moving forward? And people just, I don't know, like I put myself in those mental states, and Kyle does it too, where it's like, God, if this was gone, I couldn't continue. And I think that that's how I figured it out, I guess. How do I encourage my spouse to start working out and eating right? Ooh, luckily for us, that was kind of what started our relationship. That conversation was about like fitness and nutrition. So it's just something that has always been here. But I would say it's really hard to encourage someone, especially when they don't necessarily want it for themselves yet. But what you can do is offer to make a healthy dinner or a healthy lunch. Have them try it, encourage them to do like small little things with you, not like telling them to go and do, but like, hey, do this with me, and make it fun, whether that's like going for a hike, a walk, just simple stuff, just anything that you guys can do together that would be fun. Like maybe do a cooking date night at home, but like the recipe is kind of healthy, and you can get them to see like how simple it can be and how delicious. So, try like one of those like Home Chef, HelloFresh. Favorite memory together. I mean, so many. I have so many. I don't even know what I would say is my favorite. I think my favorite memory, I have like a very good memory too, so I can like really draw back from a lot of experiences with him. I would just have to say the beginning of our relationship, because it's how it started, how we met probably. And like the first time he kissed me probably too. All right, well, I'll just tell you the story. So we had met that night, and he invited his friend Jimmy to the bar as a backup plan, just in case it didn't go well with me. He had his buddy. So Jimmy gets there, and I'm like, okay, this is fine, whatever. And then we went to a different bar, and the boys were playing pool. And Jimmy goes, all right, if Kyle wins, you have to kiss him. And I was like, I'm not kissing. Like, I was like this little 21-year-old naive little girl trying to be cute about it. And I was like, no way. Kyle's like acting real slick, let me tell you. He was like looking at me, making all them moves and trying to be all cute and stuff. I mean, it worked. It definitely worked. I mean, yeah, it worked. Kyle ended up winning. I remember when Jimmy lost and he's like, oh yeah, you gotta kiss Kyle. And I just was like near him at that moment. And I just remember him giving me this look and like pulling me in and giving me a kiss. And it was like, ah, you know what I mean? So that might be my favorite memory. And he like smiled at me and it's cute. Have you started planning your wedding? No. COVID really just kind of, we need that to settle down, and we've talked about some ideas. It'll probably be fall of 2021. No, fall of 2022, excuse me. We've talked about going down to Virginia where his family lives and doing it on the property down there. We've talked about a smaller venue up here. But no, not really. Kids. Yes, we want kids. What's your Zodiacs? I am a Gemini and he's a Taurus. How do you support one another's goals? This is something that from the get-go of our relationship was like really foundational. We were very much into goals and keeping each other accountable, and we would always talk about it and do check-ins like, hey, how's this going? How can I help? Just very supportive of each other. And you have to be to make it work, and you have to let them be selfish sometimes. Like last year was really that time when like Kyle needed to Kyle needed to focus on his goal, which was his academy and like getting through that. And I supported him 100%. Like we were long distance technically for 7 months and we made it work. And when you love someone, it should be like a no-brainer, you know? You guys drink alcohol? I guess maybe you're asking that because I post a lot about like my faith, maybe? I don't know. I am not really a big drinker. Not that I don't drink. I definitely enjoy wine and I love tequila, but I don't love how it makes me feel after, and I definitely don't like what it does to my sleep. But we're very like casual drinkers. We don't drink often, maybe once a week. And if it's once a week, it's like I'm letting Kyle like have a drink and I'll drive home or whatever. But no, I'm not really a drinker. How do you deal with jealousy in your relationship? This is something that I don't, as of this year, realize I don't do very well. And we literally just had a huge conversation about this where I had to like really be vulnerable and tell him how I was feeling about some things. But at the end of the day, we know that we love each other and we have like such a solid pack about like what our boundaries are in our relationship, what is allowed in this relationship, and we're really clear on that. And the thought of ruining that makes us both completely ill. And jealousy is something that is a me thing. Like if I get jealous over something petty or something stupid, like that's an insecurity issue for me. And it's hard. Like I think a lot of girls deal with that, and it comes and goes for me where like I'll care and then I won't care, and then you know you just kind of have to deal with it. But honestly, my faith has played such a major role in dealing with all of that, because at the end of the day, like I know that I am loved by God, that I'm gonna cry again. I cry in so many videos, guys. It's just embarrassing. Like I know my worth and it's not in anything of this world. So that kind of sets me straight usually when I get jealous. So those are all of the questions. I had some other ones, but I kind of need Kyle here. So if you guys want to see him in a video, maybe we'll do an assumptions video or another like Q&A that is just like relationship advice questions. Definitely let me know down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you want to see more. Don't forget to check out Modern Fertility. I will have links and a coupon down below for you guys. But as always, I hope you guys are doing well, and I will see you in the next video.